In the world of Stranger Things, where monsters tear through walls and children wield psychic powers, it's easy to overlook the most powerful force of all, a mother's love pushed to its absolute breaking point. Joyce Byers, played with raw, electrifying intensity by Winona Ryder, is not a soldier, a scientist, or a superhero. She is a single mum working long hours at a dead-end job, trying to keep the lights on and her two boys fed in the small town of Hawkins, Indiana. Her real superpower, and her tragic burden, is a state of permanent, piercing anxiety that the show doesn't just depict as a character quirk but as her entire reality. Her journey is a profound documentary of what it means to live on a knife's edge of chronic hypervigilance, a state where the world is not safe, where every creak of the house is a threat, and where trusting your own frayed nerves becomes the only way to save everything you love. From the very first episode, Joyce exists in a state of high alert. Her life is a series of small, manageable stresses: money troubles, a demanding son in Will, a rebellious teenager in Jonathan, the condescension of neighbors and authority figures. This baseline anxiety is something countless people understand. But when her youngest son, Will, vanishes without a trace, that normal worry is violently amplified into a consuming fire. What makes Joyce so compelling, and so heartbreakingly real, is that the authorities, from the police to even her own friends, immediately pathologize her reaction. Her frantic energy, her wild eyes, her refusal to accept easy answers, they are written off as the rantings of an unstable, hysterical woman. This is the cruel paradox of her hypervigilance, the very thing that will allow her to perceive the unimaginable truth that Will is trapped in a monstrous alternate dimension is the same thing that isolates her and makes others dismiss her. Her sensitivity, her attunement to the faintest signal from her child, is seen as madness. She isn't just fighting a monster from the upside down, she is fighting the pervasive, patronizing belief that a mother's terror is an overreaction. Her chronic anxiety manifests in brilliant, desperate physicality. She doesn't just look for clues, she tears the wallpaper from her walls with her bare hands, following a static-filled voice no one else can hear. She strings up countless Christmas lights, creating a crude communication network across her living room, mapping the unseen horror in her home with frantic ingenuity. She buys every single phone in the local store and smashes them open to build a super-powered telephone to reach her son. To an outsider, this looks like a psychotic break. But in the reality of the show, it is the logical, inspired work of a mind so intensely focused on threat detection that it bypasses all conventional thinking. Her hypervigilance strips away preconception and forces her to see the world as it truly is, a place where the rules have broken. Her crazy is, in fact, a hyper-rational response to an insane situation. She lives in a constant state of fight or flight, her body and mind perpetually ready for the next shock, the next flicker of light, the next whisper from the void. This state of being doesn't end when Will is rescued. This is the crucial part of her story. Trauma, once experienced, rewires the nervous system. In the seasons that follow, Joyce is never truly at peace. The anxiety is now baked into her. We see it in her jumpiness, her quickness to anger, her fierce protectiveness that can border on smothering. She has seen the proof that the world is infinitely more dangerous and stranger than anyone believes, and she can never unsee it. Her vigilance becomes a prison. Her relationship with Bob Newby, a kind and normal man, is a poignant attempt to reach for a quiet life, but even that is haunted. She struggles to accept safety because her mind and body are now conditioned for danger. When Bob is brutally killed, it is the ultimate confirmation of her deepest fear, that love and normalcy are fragile, and that catastrophe is always just a moment away. Her later journey with Hopper to close the gate to the Upside Down, and her terrifying ordeal in a Russian prison, are just further chapters in a life that has become defined by surviving impossible scenarios. She is a veteran of a war very few know exists. Yet, to only see Joyce as a victim of her own nerves is to miss her profound strength. The show brilliantly reframes what society often labels as weakness. Her anxiety is not a flaw, it is a radar. Her hypervigilance is not a breakdown, it is her son's lifeline. In a town asleep to the darkness beneath it, Joyce is awake. Her constant state of what if is what allows her to perceive the what is. She trusts her gut even when it screams things that sound insane, and that trust saves her children, her friends, and arguably the entire world time and again. Her love is the engine, but her anxiety is the fuel. It gives her a clarity that the calm, rational characters lack. Chief Hopper begins the series as a man of slow, methodical action. Joyce is all instinct and immediacy. Together, they form a perfect whole, but it is often her frantic, perceptive spark that lights the way. In the end, Joyce Byers' story is one of the most authentic portrayals of chronic anxiety and hypervigilance in modern television. It shows that living in such a state is exhausting, isolating, and a daily battle. It can make you seem difficult, unhinged, and difficult to be around. But it also shows that this sensitivity, born of love and fear, can be a kind of fierce intelligence. It is the ability to hear the faintest cry in a storm of noise, to see the monster in the shadows when everyone else is looking at the sunlight. She survives on a knife's edge, not because she wants to, but because the well-being of those she loves demands it. Her story tells us that sometimes, the people we call crazy are the only ones paying close enough attention to the real dangers lurking just out of sight. And in a world that often feels increasingly unstable and full of unseen threats, Joyce Byers stands as a powerful, messy, and deeply human testament to the cost and the necessity of staying awake, of staying afraid, and of fighting like hell for the light, even when you are surrounded by darkness.